So how do you take a picture like this and turn it into something like this? In today's video, I'm going to teach you that and more right after this.
I think the reason I don't know what to do is because I haven't done enough things.
Hey, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking all things car photography, and I'm going to share with you my personal tips and tricks on the matter. If you're new around here, I am not your average Joe, a veteran turned creator, and I'm here to help you find the creator within and turn passion into purpose. So let's grab our gear and go shoot. So just in general, the biggest piece of advice that I can give you with photography, videography, anything like that, is to get very good at the basics, right? You want to make sure that you're exposing your image properly. You want to make sure that you're kind of purposeful with your focal ranges. And if you can get your composition on point right there, that alone will set you ahead of a lot of people. And that's going to be kind of the foundations. Obviously, there's more to it than that. But if you can master that, you'll go pretty far. So with that being said, we're going to get right into tip number 1, shooting with different angles and positions. And I'm going to show you a few common ways to shoot a car. So first up, we have a front right 1/4. You're going to position the car to see about 25% of that right side. Next up, we have the front right 3/4 shot. That's where you're going to see about 75% of that right side of the car. Then after that, we have the back left 1/4 shot. That's where you're gonna see about 25% of that back side of that car. And then after that, we've got the back left 3/4 shot, and you're gonna see about 75% of the back side of that car. And of course, this can all be reversed for the other side of the car as well. So you'd be shooting a front left 1/4 shot, again, 25% of the car. A front left 3/4 shot, again, 75% of that left side instead of the right side. And then shooting a back right 1/4, 25% of the back, and then finally a back right 3/4 shot, again 75% of that right side instead of the left side. So after that, we also have the front shot. That's where you're just going to see the headlights and the windshield of the car. Then we have the side profile for both sides, and this pairs really well with an awesome landscape. And then finally, we have the back shot where you only see the rear windshield and then the taillights of the car. And there you have it. Those are some of the more common ways to shoot a car, or at least the ways that I like to shoot a car. And we're gonna wrap up tip number 1 with a little pro tip for you. When you are shooting cars, a little pro tip, make sure you turn the wheel so the rim is facing the photographer. Just trust me on this. It just makes for a very pleasing photo and overall looks better most of the time. Tip number 2 that I have for you is to shake up the background and the vantage points, right? Don't just shoot in the same boring location. Find what you can make look cooler in your location, whether it's a different toolbox, or maybe you're shooting by the mountains or by the beach or wherever it is. Just switch up the locations, especially with the different types of cars that you have. If you're shooting every car inside the same garage, right? It doesn't matter how cool the car is. If you have a boring background, you're not gonna take the best photos that you can potentially get out of that vehicle. And with that, I want to say that shooting landscape and shooting portrait are 2 very different things as far as vantage points go, as far as kind of things you think about into the shoot. And then one little pro tip for tip number 2 is shoot about mirror height. I like to warm up there, and of course, like, you can shake it up later on, but as I'm kind of getting into my photos and dialing in everything that I want for that photo shoot, I kind of start off mirror height and see what I can get there, and then I'll kind of explore after that. So now we're moving on to tip number 3, panning for motion blur. A cool way to switch up your car photography is to get some in-camera motion blur. Now how you're gonna do this is you're gonna stand on the side of the street as a car drives by you at a fast speed. So one thing to keep in mind is that the car should drive past you at about 35 to 45 miles an hour, somewhere around there. And you're gonna set your camera shutter speed to about 1/125th. And then after you do that, make sure you set the rest of your settings to get the right exposure. Now, as the car drives past you, you're gonna follow with the lens and snap the photo. And if you time it right, the car should be in focus and the wheels in the background should be blurry. This is going to be used to showcase speed and to add some dimension to your photo. Now let's move on to tip number 4. Tell or create a story. When you look at that car, what stands out to you? Find a way to capture that. You've got the creative eye. Learn to trust it and learn how to use it. Mix up your shots. Get some close, mid, far shots. Switch up your focal ranges. Get a telephoto lens. Get a wide lens. Use your zoom lens. Try things out with a prime lens. Shoot the interior, shoot the exterior. Find those little details that separate the car from a regular car. Maybe you're shooting that logo on the steering wheel. Maybe you're shooting the very front of the car or the very rear. Maybe you have somebody hit that brake pedal and you shoot the back of the car and you use the highlights from the tail lights. Maybe you've got a really good cityscape behind you and you do a front shot and you shoot the city behind it with a wide lens. Find different things, find different areas. You can go to a parking garage and you can shoot black and white photos. You can go to the beach and get some dark or get some light, like colorful contrasty photos. You can go to the mountains and really accentuate the gloomy hues. You can do all sorts of different things. But the difference between being able to just take a really good photo and being a great photographer is finding a way to telling a story with your images, making somebody feel something, right? When you shoot that car, how can you make somebody feel about that car the same way you do? And with that being said, let me give you an example of what I mean. Here's some photos that I took. Keep in mind I did landscape and portrait shots, but here is an example of what I mean. And last but not least, tip number 5 for you, pay attention to the little things, because the little things add up and the little things can make or break a shoot. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about watching out for reflections. Cars are very shiny, cars are very reflective, different things will show up. Just make sure you watch out for that. Constantly monitoring your exposure. Sometimes clouds go by, different things happen. You just want to make sure you're constantly checking that exposure to make sure you're shooting where you need to be shooting. And then finally, just making sure the car is clean. Going to a car wash before, vacuuming out the interior, right? Don't get lazy. That's the big thing with photography, is don't be lazy. If you're shooting something and there's a mess in there, right? Clean up that mess. And right there, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you learned something or you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're excited to see some more content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because believe me, this is the first of many. We got a lot of incredible videos coming your way. And at the end of the day, if you have any questions or you want to learn something else, leave it below in the comments. Just go down there and type it out. Thank you so much for watching this. I will catch you next time in the next video. See you next Friday. Thank you.